Live and Local is proudly sponsored by Eels and Tronvold Law Offices, McGrath Family of Dealerships, and Walled Collation Center in Fairfax. This is a presentation of KCRG TV9 Live Events. Join KCRG TV9 in recognizing the hard work all of our graduates have accomplished this year. Congratulations, graduates.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 2022 Jefferson High School Commencement Ceremony. Thank you for sharing this event with our faculty and the graduating seniors. At this time, we are ready for the graduates to enter the arena. Please rise and remain standing for the processional and the instrumental version of the Star-Spangled Banner.
You may be seated. Good evening. I am Lake Cheney, and I would like to welcome you all to the 2022 commencement ceremony for the Thomas Jefferson High School graduating class. Thank you for joining us in celebrating this momentous occasion for this year's graduates. Thank you for joining us in celebrating this momentous occasion for these graduates. This ceremony tonight shall not be the end to our story, but the next chapter in our lives. By the end of the night, friends, families, and teachers will come together to share laughs, stories, and lots of tears for their beloved senior class. I believe it is important to remember all of the memories we had in the awkward 4 years of high school. The freshman jitters we all had consisted of were in this room, or where is this room at? Where do I sit in the cafeteria? How do I find the gymnasium? And lots of, is this day over yet? I definitely remember our first impression of high school as scary and confusing. Learning how to get from one room to another without getting lost through the school or being to class on time was a bit overwhelming in a big school until we eventually got into the groove of how high school worked. I personally remember how overwhelming it was to have teachers and family wanting me to try new activities at school that I had never even thought of doing. I wanted to focus primarily on academics, but I soon learned that I could balance academics, sports, and other school-related activities. We ended our freshman year feeling confident, eager to follow to the following year, that it could only get better from then on. Right. The beginning of sophomore year, and we are no longer the newest to Jefferson. We become more comfortable with the normalcy of high school. Routines were established, that was until normal ended. With a pandemic ending, in-person learning, a summer of calm would restore some sense of normalcy. The fact that a land hurricane was with extremely strong winds literally destroyed that notion. Junior year was nothing like we thought it would be. When we returned for our final year, it felt like the beginning of freshman year all over again. Those first day jitters were back, but slowly, surely, there was a return of normalcy. Students became more involved with extracurriculars, like when they first started high school. Teachers became more relaxed in classrooms full of students, and many parents were scared and excited for their kids to start back in person. I can testify that the last 4 years we all had were not ideal, but I can't put into words how thankful I am for the students, teachers, administration, family, and friends that are celebrating the Jefferson class of 2022. Who knew we would be spending the last couple of years battling through the outbreak of a pandemic, a land hurricane, and a learning environment that was not ideal. During these shared experiences, we also want to share the great outcome of the last 4 years. We got to share many great memories through all the unfortunate events. Now, we are here today to celebrate the end of our high school years and open the door for what the future holds. Tonight may be ending to one chapter, but a beginning for another. Next, I would like to introduce our first speaker of the evening, sharing their reflections, Caitlin DeBloy, who will give her speech, The Balancing Act. Thank you.
Physics tells us that the way to create constant motion, whether that be actually moving or simply standing still, is to balance the forces acting upon that object. This is how we stay upright on Earth. The gravitational force that is constantly trying to pull us towards the center of the Earth is counteracted by the normal force of the Earth's surface. In our physics classes, we worked tirelessly to simply get an object to stay still. We drew endless diagrams and summed our forces to make things balance. But when we take a step back from the physics and look at our lives, this is actually something we've been doing all along, seeking balance. We walked into our first days of kindergarten with wide eyes full of excitement, a new environment filled with cool toys, and to top it all off, a playground. But with this transition came something our 5-year-old minds couldn't quite comprehend: the structure of school. All we wanted to do was play with our new friends, but instead we were forced to learn jolly phonics. The teachers were constantly telling us to be quiet and do our work, and that playtime was for recess, not the classroom. This was a painful blow to our little hearts that took a long time to cope with, but by the end of elementary school, we had a pretty good grasp of it. And then we moved on to middle school, where things got a little more complicated. We were met with tons of new faces and activities that we had to learn to navigate, all the while experiencing more grown-up feelings. We had to learn how to balance the happy with the sad, the excitement with the focus. This was also the period in our lives where we learned more about social status and found that the way we had pictured ourselves in our heads was not quite what other people saw of us. But regardless, by the end of our short 3 years in middle school, a lot of us thought we had it all figured out. We had a best friend, knew what subject we were best at, and knew what sports we liked to play. We were balanced. But as Mike Tyson once said, everyone has a plan till they get punched in the mouth. And high school was just that, the punch that jolted us from our preconceived notions of ourselves and of our high school experience. We started off as all freshmen do, lost and confused. But by the end of this first year, we all fell into our own rhythm. Our attempts to carry this rhythm into our sophomore year, however, were thwarted by the virus that must not be named. Junior year was all a bit of a blur, and in a way almost felt like a gap year. But following that gap year was a senior year at full throttle with a lot of unprepared participants. High school was supposed to be about balancing school with our extracurricular activities, personal lives, and even work lives. How are we supposed to learn how to manage our time when the amount of time available to us kept changing? We went from having some time in our beginning years to having all the time in the world junior year to having no time at all senior year. This 0 to 100 shift made for a pretty rough transition. The time management skills we were supposed to have acquired by this point in our high school careers were nowhere to be seen. So we had to learn it all this year. But balancing these things in high school was a lot more difficult than it had been in past years. Now, each force was something deeply important to us. We had to decide what meant the most to us and give those things more of our time in order to stay balanced. But within this struggle, we also found something else: the value of being unbalanced. In the realm of physics, having unbalanced forces causes an acceleration. This is where true growth happens. This is where we step outside our comfort zones and propel ourselves forward. Life is ever-changing, and we are ever-growing. But we cannot grow if we constantly stay balanced. We cannot be afraid to add another force into our lives just because it might initially cause some unbalance. If we were constantly balanced, we would never move away from home, accept that new job, or start a family, because we'd be too worried about dealing with the change it would cause. Instead, we must embrace these times. We must use them to reevaluate the importance of all of our forces to find a new sense of balance. Physics can do a lot of things. It can predict how far an object will move if it is pushed, the amount of current that will go through a circuit if its switch is closed, or the kinetic energy a ball will have if it were dropped to the ground. What physics cannot do, however, is state whether these events will occur. Physics cannot tell us if the object will be pushed, if a switch will be closed, or if a ball will be dropped. It can only tell us what will happen if it does. Physics cannot predict the future, and neither can we. As we all remember, a virus halfway across the world turned into a pandemic affecting the entire world. On August 10th, a beautiful sunny day turned into a record-breaking storm. No matter how much time we spent thinking about the future, we would have never been able to predict this. It is so easy to get caught up thinking about the future, but this is ultimately a waste of time. Yes, preparation is important, but we cannot become so obsessed with it that we miss out on the here and now. We cannot spend our whole lives in preparation for a future that we will never be able to predict. Physics taught us how to keep an object at rest, but also how to accelerate that object. And it always came down to the balance of the forces acting upon it. But how do we take this and apply it? How do we navigate life? By being as balanced as we can today. The best way to prepare for tomorrow is to be our best selves each day. By doing this, we set ourselves up to be even better in the future. So for now, let's celebrate this great accomplishment. Congratulations, class of 2022. Thank you. The music department will now perform two selections, America the Beautiful and The Road Home.
Please be seated. My name is Holly Pragon, and it is my pleasure this evening to introduce several guests who are seated on stage and who will participate in the graduation ceremony. Members of the Cedar Rapids Community School District Board of Directors will present diplomas to the graduates. Please reserve your applause until all are introduced. Director Nancy Humbles, Director and Vice President Cindy Garlock, Director Jennifer Borcherding, I would also like to introduce Mrs. Noreen Bush, Superintendent of Cedar Rapids Community School District. Ms. Cynthia Phillips, Executive Director for High Schools. And Ms. Nicole Cooker, Deputy Superintendent. On behalf of Jefferson's class of 2020, I would like to offer our sincere thanks for the efforts of these board members and central office administrators. I would now like to introduce Salutatorian Solange Kufando.
I would like now to introduce this year 25 valedictorians. Would they please rise and remain standing until all names are called? They are Ryan Adrian, Addie Anderson, Gabrielle Bernadotte, Chase Bernauer, Laker Cheney, Emily Clement, Annabelle Deem, Caitlin DuBois, Zachary Ager, Savannah Ager, Emma Hint, Justice Jar, Johanna Maldonado, Devin Meyer, Jamie Wen, Erin Olson, Kelsey Palmer, Anya Pogenclass, Dawson Poxcani, Holly Pragan, Olivia Proctor, Abigail Smith, Zachary Smith, Adam Sotzendruber, and Ryan Zurcher. I would now like to introduce Senior Salutatorian Rehema Irakoze.
I lived half my life in Tanzania, and I looked forward to the day I would come to America. I was 11 and excited to see how new side of the world and experience new culture. So when the day came, all I could think about was to come. But after arriving, I remember crying, and the reason was that I finally remembered my friends. I realized that I was living on the other side of the world. I realized that I might not see them again this lifetime. With the excitement I had about coming to America, I'd forgot about my friends that I grew up with. I fought with my cousin, and I never thought about making up with her. I was so focused on the future that I forgot about living the present. I regret that so much. I asked myself, why didn't I spend the time I had with them, playing jump rope and tag? Why didn't I make more memory with them and appreciate them, because I'll never see them again? I focused on what was ahead and forgot to live in the moment. Now, if you think about it, we, as a graduating class, are about to experience something similar. We are moving forward from here. Some of us may never see each other again. While it's my hope that we don't have regrets, most importantly, I hope that we plan for the future and live in the present. I love watching Korean dramas, and in the show called Because This Is My First Life, the main character is struggling with living the moment. The male lead had bought an apartment on loan, and he planned to spend his whole life paying for the loan. While doing so, he found himself waking up every day on money and pay the loan. It came to the point it was burden for him. All he could focus on, it was all he could focus on. He distanced himself from friends and family. He was so focused on the day he wouldn't have to pay for the loan that he lost track of the moment. The writer of this drama understands our world's struggle balancing life. Every day, people all around the world wake up, and their first thought is, I have to prepare for the future. We focus on the things we lack and believe that our happiness solely depends on achieving the next big thing. To the point we forget about what we have, what's in front of us, what matters. Many people have forgotten to live in the moment. They forget to spend time with family and friends, make memories. They forget to do what they love and enjoy. They forget how to be happy and how to love. Hence, my wish to my fellow classmates and myself is to live in the moment as we start a new chapter of our lives. Yeah, we're going to start paying rent and filling out tax form. Some of us are going to start college, get a job, join the military, go to trade school. And it's really scary to think about because we don't know what's ahead. With every big decision, we need to consider the consequence. In the adult world, we must choose wisely. We're going to have to choose between 2 or more good options or 2 or more bad options. Deciding which option will lead to the most desirable outcome. And how do you define desirable anyway? We're going to have to go through loss and grief, learn how to live with pain and grow from it, instead of being consumed by it. We will need to take on responsibility for ourselves, career, and family, and learn as we go. But as we go into the dark world, I want you to remember to live in the moment, because those moments that happen between one big plans are the most beautiful moments. The moments spent with family and friends, laughing and making jokes, the moment that you love, and spend time doing what you love. Tonight, the excitement that I'm feeling is similar to when I was coming to America. I'm excited for what's ahead. Yeah, I understand that I will not see some of you again in this lifetime, as we all are going to take a different path. And this time, I know it's going to be different. I won't have any regret later on, because I cherished every moment and memory for the last 4 years. And I hope that's the same for every one of you. I hope that when you feel lost in life, you will look back at your high school years fondly, and that will give you the strength to move forward. Congratulations, Jayhawk, class of 2022. I would now like to introduce Zachary Ager.
It was about this time, 4 years ago, that we concluded middle school and began our transition to high school. In many ways, I see this point in our lives to be similar to a foot race. We started off strong, ambitious, and full of hope. However, the further we advanced, the more we became worn down and fatigued. Just as in running, only willingness and determination can motivate such a person to see it out to the end. Tonight, we commemorate just that, the end. We celebrate our achievement of graduation and reflect upon our journey to this point. However, understand that high school is also just the beginning of something much larger. As we move forward, we must utilize the constructive traits we have consistently demonstrated over the past 4 years in order to receive similar results. To the class of 2022, savor our graduation tonight and let it serve as the beginning of a new journey in our lives. First, let us recognize the determination and excellence the class of 2022 has embodied over the past 4 years. Although everyone's high school experience is different, when looking through a very simplified lens, school sounds really easy. You go to class, pay attention, learn the information and skills needed, then use it on a test. Simple, right? While foolishness may offer complications, it is obstacles outside of the classroom that create the largest threats to our education. Whether it be a long night at a part-time job, performing arts production, or a sports practice, that 8 a.m. math class no longer seems very easy. Furthermore, I think we can all agree that life has manufactured a few challenges over the past 4 years. From personal issues to worldwide crises, the class of 2022's dedication has been tried and tested. Through disasters, deaths, divorces, denials, dents, dings, debts, doubts, delays, dizzy dismay, and even March Madness, we have kept our focus. As a result, we have accomplished some amazing things. From our award-winning Band of Blue, to our talented athletic state qualifiers, to our national title-winning academic decathlon team. The list of achievements goes on and on. Undoubtedly, we have kept our focus on not only graduating, but demonstrating perseverance and mastery in all aspects of our lives. It goes unsaid that over the past 4 years, we have exhibited extreme determination and excellence. For that, I commend our graduation today. Now, as our graduation marks the beginning of the rest of our lives, we must continue to utilize the skills we've developed over the past 4 years. As we make the difficult transition into the real world, we are faced with the mystifying mirage that is the future. Personally, I'm terrified of the future. From complicated tax forms to receding hairlines, the future presents all sorts of inevitable terrors. But above all, I fear the uncertainty it presents. Whether it be isolation, rejection, or failure, we can't help but worry that our unpredictable future may hold our biggest fears. And as we begin this new chapter in our lives, we are faced with a level of unpredictability that I am not comfortable with. However, I'm able to find comfort through one thing: running. I run long distances on a daily basis, not just for exercise and fulfillment, but also perspective. In many ways, I notice parallels between running, school, work, and life in general. I like to imagine life as a training block before a big race. Leading up to a race, a runner may prepare themselves through a strenuous training regimen. If a runner chooses to skip workouts or disregard the training plan, it ultimately comes at the cost of the athlete's performance at the race. Similarly, in life, a failure to prepare for any ambition, whether it be an assessment at school or a promotion at work, it often leads to failure. Thus, running helps clarify that a strong preparation for the goal at hand will result in the outcome I desire. We must all keep this in mind as we begin our pursuit of much larger goals. As we set off into the unknown, I am confident that the practices and knowledge we have developed over the past 4 years will help guide us towards the future of our liking. Furthermore, to achieve the goals we hold for our future, we mustn't lose sight of the bigger picture. As we pursue our desires, it can be easy to get caught up in our everyday lives and forget what exactly we are working towards. However, to lose sight of the goal you first set out to achieve is to blindly run in circles. For comparison, I think of a common perception that is brought about as I train. As I get caught up in the everyday grind of training, I often lose sight of what it is I'm working towards. When this happens, I ask myself why. Why do I run? Why do I push myself to pain and discomfort day after day? Time and time again, I must remind myself that it is in pursuit of a larger overlaying goal. When I lose sight of my motives, I lose the purpose of the workout with it. I no longer push myself to give my best, and therefore, I also gain very little from my actions. Likewise, if we lose sight of our goals in life, our actions become worthless. We may recklessly act with little to no forethought. Instead, our goals should drive our actions. We must act with purpose and justification. In this manner, our actions should only give us more confidence that we will reach our goal. Thus, as we prepare to begin our new life as independent individuals, we must keep our goals in mind if we are to achieve them. All in all, as we look to the future today, we all hold many goals and aspirations. While I am confident in our ability to achieve these goals, only time will tell how we all turn out. We all must retain focus, dedication, and perseverance if we are to achieve these dreams. But for now, we are only depicted by our past achievements. For the class of 2022, our graduation today is reflected by the persistence and excellence we've demonstrated for the past 4 years. However, our true journey has just begun. We have received the skills needed to give us a running start into the rest of our lives. What you may do with this head start is entirely up to you. No matter what you do, let the accomplishment of graduating serve as an inspiration and a reminder of your ability to overcome obstacles. But for now, rejoice in your achievement. Class of 2022, I congratulate you and wish you the best of luck. I would now like to introduce fellow valedictorian Ryan Zurcher, who will introduce this year's salutatorians.
Now that you have met the valedictorians and heard their reflections, it is our pleasure to introduce the salutatorians. Will they please rise and remain standing until all names are called? Will the audience please hold your applause until 5 salutatorians are introduced? Audrey Bruns, Valedictorian, Rahima Irakoze, Solange Kafunda, and Emma Reed. Congratulations to these classmates. You may be seated. I would now like to introduce Senior Adam Schwarzenberger.
I would like to introduce you to some of the academic achievements of the class of 2022. Seniors, your past 4 years at Jefferson have sped by. Graduates, it is time to take a few moments to look back on our past accomplishments. In terms of academics, co-curricular activities, and citizenship, this class and this school is second to none, and these are just a few reasons why. Let's start by looking at the academic accomplishments of the class of 2022. Your program provides explanations of several academic honors, including the selection process for valedictorians and salutatorians, students who were introduced to you earlier this evening. Obviously, the students in those elite groups have taken their academic responsibilities at Jefferson very seriously, and they are deserving of the recognition they have received. In fact, there are 30 members of the class with 4.0 plus GPAs. They are not, however, the only students in this excellent students in this class. We would like to introduce to you many more. At last week's Senior Recognition Night event, academic recognition was provided to many members of this class. Your program describes the qualifications for students receiving the Presidential Education Award for membership in the Academic Honors Program with Distinction, National Honor Society, the Jayhawk Credit Club, and for earning the Jefferson Academic Letter. Those qualification standards are rigorous, and to earn any one of them is worthy of high praise. In fact, 62 of tonight's graduates received a certificate from President Biden because they are qualified for the Presidential Education Award. 70 graduates have been inducted into Jefferson's chapter of the National Honor Society. 117 have received the academic letter, and many more may qualify once spring term grades have been included on the transcripts. 49 students are wearing the medals for our academic honors program, and an additional 68 are wearing medals for having met the more challenging standards of the Honors with Distinction program. 72 students are wearing blue honor cords this evening, indicating that they have earned 54 or more credits while at Jefferson. 494 4- and 5-year development awards were given to the content areas of language arts, math, science, social studies, world language, and project lead the way. 6 members of this class earned excellent attendance during their 4 years in high school. I'm pleased to announce that 240 members of this class have achieved the distinction of qualifying for one or more of these academic honors. Would those 240 students please stand for our recognition? Congratulations on your academic success at Jefferson. Of course, these are not the only ways to measure academic success. The graduates just mentioned, and others in the class as well, have been recipients of countless other honors, including academic scholarships that will be used at many colleges and universities this fall. That statement speaks volumes about the academic commitment of the members of the class of 2022. As a class, we are to be commended. I would now like to introduce Emily Clement, who will discuss our accomplishments and activities.
As in the academic arena, members of this class have enjoyed their participation in Jefferson's numerous co-curricular activities. Students learn valuable lessons and enjoy lasting memories on these teams and ensembles. Some examples of that success include the following. The 2022 academic decathlon team won the state championship for the 22nd consecutive year. The team represented Iowa at the national competition online in April, winning the Division II national championship. This marks the first national championship for any team from Iowa. Vocal music programs at Jefferson excel at the state and national levels. Many groups, including Westside Delegation, Ovation, Meister Singers, travel regionally and nationally, and their success is phenomenal. They have earned an impressive series of Division I honors in state competitions at State Solo and Ensemble Festival and State Large Group Festival. The Jefferson musicians have overcome historic obstacles in the classroom this year. They have prepared performances for Kingston Stadium, virtual all-state auditions and state solo festival performances, and live solo recitals and competitions. They have held multiple band and orchestra concerts, a professional recording session with the jazz band for the Corridor Jazz Project, a show choir performance in the auditorium, and are thrilled to perform in the Powerhouse tonight for our graduating class of 2022. We have a thriving theater program as well. The Jefferson Theater Department presented 5 productions this year. The season began by reopening our doors to live audiences with Disney's 101 Dalmatians. We then produced Romeo and Juliet before turning to a night of one acts with Aliens vs. Cheerleaders and Appropriate Audience Behavior. In May, we were able to perform Addams Family the Musical after 3 years of wait. We ended the year with A Night to Remember, a tribute to Bob and Aloe Guider. Would all of the graduates who have participated in academic decathlon, vocal or instrumental music, theater, art, or speech during their years at Jefferson, and the staff members who directed them, please stand. We want to give you one last ovation in recognition of your excellent work in the fine arts. I would now like to introduce fellow class member Dawson Posacani.
In addition to fine arts and academics, athletic competition provides many valuable lessons and memories. Nearly 1,000 students participate in athletics yearly as part of our 21 interscholastic sports teams. They have competed in state tournaments and playoffs and have enjoyed success in the Mississippi Valley Conference, perhaps the premier large school conference in Iowa. As they graduate tonight, they take with them great memories of the time they spent participating in sports at Jefferson. Highlights in the athletic arena include Special Olympics, cross country, swimming, swimming and diving, track, tennis, and bowling. Would all of the members of the class of 2022 who have participated in athletics at Jefferson, and would the staff members who have coached them please stand? We salute you for your commitment to excellence in the realm of athletics. It would be easy to continue to talk about the journalism program, the math team, the various programs that make up Jefferson's DECA, Service Club, Palms, Blacksmithing Club, Cheer Squad, Chess Team, Building Trades, Trap Shooting Club, Math Club, Student Council, and the numerous other clubs that exist at the school. In every case, the message will be similar. Students enjoying a successful program being led by a caring, competent adult. Will the students involved in these programs please stand for our applause? Now let me reintroduce our principal, Mr. Michael Hawley.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating the valedictorians and salutatorians for a job well done tonight. They have been important leaders in the successes of the class of 2022, and their thoughtful and articulate comments set the tone for an outstanding commencement ceremony. At this time, would the salutatorians and valedictorians please return to their seats. I love that sound. Listen to it. That's accomplishment. Of course, the successes these students have enjoyed would not be possible, without the help of many, many people who have played critical roles in preparing them for tonight's celebration. First are the educators who have worked with these students at Jefferson. I'll introduce them in groups. Please hold your applause until all are standing. Associate Principals, Ms. Lori Bateman, Mr. Chris Deem, and Mr. Chad Zabo. Counselors, Mrs. Kim Abram, Mrs. Jamie Cummins, Mr. Jason Edwards, and Ms. Judy McIntosh. PAC Coordinator, Mr. Kevin Darrow, and National Honor Society Advisor, Ms. Teresa Fetchkether, both helped in the preparation of tonight's ceremony. Ms. Emma Edelin, Mrs. Christina Helbert, Ms. Sarah McAndrew, and Mrs. Jennifer Middlecoff have served these students as class sponsors. Their work has culminated recently with the completion of a successful prom and after-prom party. "28 additional teachers are senior form advisors, and many of them have worked with the same students for all 4 years of high school." Could you stand, please? And so I'm going to ask all those that have stood up and sat back down to stand up. And finally, the remainder of the Jefferson faculty, please stand and be recognized. Please be seated. 3 Jefferson staff are retiring this year. Would Ms. Paula Kincaid, Mrs. Wendy Orr, and Mr. Rob Rollins please stand? Thank you for your long-term commitment and loyalty to our school, and specifically to our students. Education is a team effort. Teachers are critical, as are the school board members and central office personnel we met earlier in the program. So are the professional office staff members who work with students and families every day. Some of those are here tonight. Lois Bassett serves as the principal secretary at Jefferson and has coordinated many of the important end-of-year events, including tonight's graduation ceremony. Her work is indispensable. Those of you that don't know that she is the one who truly runs Jefferson. 2 other office staff members are seated in the audience and have worked to make tonight's event go so smoothly. They are Brenda Murillo and Ellen Pelzer. Thank you so much for all you do on behalf of the students at Jefferson. Yes, there's a speech. Good evening, everyone. Wow, 4 years go by quickly, don't they? It's been a struggle, no doubt, for many to get here, but it is wonderful to look out on this talented group of seniors sitting before us. They have gone through high school during such a trying time in history, and they're ready for the next step. But given that nobody knows what lies ahead, I offer you these 3 life lessons to take to heart as you go out into the bigger world. First, always put your best you in front of others. Secondly, be ready for the unexpected and use it to your advantage. And lastly, be the change you want to see in the world. These 3 simple things can give such a richness to your lives and to the lives of all those around you. I could be up here and go on about how to use all that you've learned at Jefferson, or I could speak to the apprehension many of you may be feeling as the comfort of being a teenager gives way to adulting, something some of you are all too familiar with already. But believe me, your lives seem much more complicated than when I was your age, so I think these bits of wisdom will serve you well. When I say that we need to put our best self in front of others, I say it knowing that we aren't always at our best. Still, put the best available version of you forward. I think about my time here, and I can see my slip-ups. After all, one of you described me as a fun sponge. Nobody wants to be called that. I like fun. For example, I'd like to be able to go back and tell that student that yes, it is okay to carry his books in a tire. And if only I could go back and tell Mr. Chisholm to go ahead and use his cooler as a backpack, I surely would. But sometimes I worry too much about the bad things that can happen. I'm always working to improve, acknowledging where there is room for growth. As the saying goes, life is about becoming a better version of yourself, to put the best you forward. It is important to recognize all the successes, the accomplishments, and the growth that you've had, so that becomes what people see and admire. Not in an arrogant way, but in a humble, unpretentious way. Pride is a good thing, but it's a fine line, as arrogance can creep in. And it takes work to see where that line is. You won't always get it right, and I think it's even harder now in the world we live in, or with so much focus on image and judgment, but too many times only in a superficial way. We are all inundated with selfies, likes, and the constant attention that it all brings. Turn your attention to character and less so on image. Now, the second point, being ready for the unexpected and using it to your advantage, isn't something I'll spend much time on. After all, you have seen so much in your short lives. Yes, it is short. I'm 60. If anyone knows the unpredictability of life and the possibilities that a new challenge can offer at any moment, it's all of you. You do realize, though, that this is just training for what's ahead. Margaret Dabble thought that When nothing is certain, everything is possible, and it rings so true now. Living in uncertain times in a volatile world where nothing is constant can cause us to be overwhelmed. We may feel as though we are unable to change the way things are. But don't accept the status quo, don't see the barrier, see the opportunity. Look at the past few years. Online school wasn't what we wanted, but we made it work. We also learned that understanding the science you learned in class really helps you understand what is happening in the world. Business and technology have evolved in new directions, and as today's graduates, you'll be the beneficiaries of that progress. Yeah, of course, there will be hardships. Adapt and you will find success. That is if you can define what success is for you. So often people see the negative. They see what holds them back. See a way to use those obstacles to your advantage. Finally, and most importantly, most importantly, be the change you want to see in the world. This is the theme I live on. Be the change you want to see in yourself. The world right now is a very unstable place. So much division, so much stress, so much hate. We will only prosper as a country, a community, a school, as individuals if we band together. So often during our time at Jefferson, we hear the chant, West Side, Best Side. What does that mean to all of you? I know that in my short time here, I have been told so many times that it means a great deal to a lot of people who have gone before you. Many who are sitting in this arena. Let's hear it. That same Jayhawk pride will be running through you from now on. As I see it, the same is grounded in pride, work, and tradition. So let what you've learned here serve as the foundation for what comes next in your life. Let it serve to counterbalance the superficiality of the world around you so that you can see others, learn from others, and impact others so that you can be the change. And that brings me to this. 2 of your classmates came to me because they believe they can be a part of the change. Show the world that we care, that we are with them. And they've asked for this special message. Yesterday before leaving Jefferson, these are their words. Yesterday before leaving Jefferson for the last time, many of us were struggling with recent events, and we felt the need to do something. As many of you know, Tuesday, May 24th, 19 students and 2 teachers lost their lives in Texas during a school shooting. We would like to offer a moment of silence from our graduation to honor those who were denied this wonderful experience. As we remember those lives that were taken, please join us now in a moment of silence. Thank you. And thank you, ladies, for coming to me, for embodying the best of what it means to be a Jayhawk. Congratulations, class of 2022. I wish all of you the best of luck and the wisdom to recognize the moments that are the essence of life. All those here want you to know that you should be proud of yourselves and this achievement. I'd now like to reintroduce Superintendent Noreen Bush.
I'm getting to the right page. It's great to see you, Jayhawks. Thank you for teeing me up, Mr. Hawley, in talking about West Side, Best Side. So as any Jayhawk would, I am a Jayhawk. When I say West Side, you say Best Side, West Side, West Side. Absolutely. At this time in our history, our community has experienced, yes, a pandemic, a natural disaster from which we are all still recovering, and yet our community also experienced innovation, advocacy, tenacity, and resilience, the tenets of creating hope. That is you, class of 2022. You are the class of hope. You have been through so much, but you have also forced us to think differently about education, about options, and how to consider possibilities to solve complex problems. So now, more than ever, let's honor what all of you have gained during the last 13 years of your school life. You have created a complete orchestra of learning, from in-person traditional coursework to synchronous learning with teachers and classmates on the screen, to anytime, anywhere learning on your own space at your own pace. This is the absolute crescendo in the concert of your schooling. You have tackled so much, and you have done it with grace and wisdom. You are greatly admired by all of us here in the Cedar Rapids Community School District. To the families, community members, and staff that have guided these students along their academic journey, I hold a deep respect for your mentorship, your care, your guidance that led these young women and men to this very important moment in their lives. Graduates, as an alumnus of Jefferson High School, I remember sitting right there, and my mom sitting right there in this very same arena. I share your enthusiasm. I remember well the pride of this moment, and please know that we are cheering you on as you set yourselves into new adventures where you can begin to build your own unique history, where I am confident there will continue to have a paved path of hope. You give me so much hope for our future. Amazing, amazing young men and women. When I look at you, I am so hopeful for our future. I am so hopeful for the children of our community. And remember, you can always come home and be a teacher. Class of 2022, you are the hope creators. So, it is only fitting that we will send you off thinking about those next steps into your future. Our vision in our district is every learner future ready. So, everyone in the arena, we are going to cheer on this Jefferson High School graduating class with that very vision. When I say every learner, you say future ready. Every learner? Oh, louder than that. Every learner. That is you, class of hope. I cannot wait to hear the stories of your future. Please come back and visit us. Absolutely. Congratulations, class of 2022.
Members of the board, ladies and gentlemen, these members of the Jefferson High School class of 22 have met the requirements set forth in district policy and state law. Therefore, we are at this time prepared to present to them their diplomas. Ryan Adrian. Farhan Ahmad. Jaden Alba. Zion Allen. Jay Amos. Addie Anderson. Natalie Anderson. Elizabeth Angelina. Sarah Ayeva. Raven Babarel. Moise Banikini. Clayton Barger. Benjamin Basami. Brendan Bateman. Rachel Batiga. Kylin Bache. Bryce Bender. Gabrielle Bernadette. Chase Bernauer. Christelle Basanbi. Daniel Binhammer. Nova Bird. Gabrielle Basinius. Allison Blanchett. Aiden Boggs. Alexis Boland. Letitia Delumbu. Sarah Borsberry. Gabriel Brathwaite. Anya Brooks. Fitzroy Brown. Latasia Brown. Audrey Bruns. Kayla Bryan. Cameron Bubignac. Frank Budaderi. Justin Burnett. Abigail Buss. Chloe Buswell. Adam Bazinski. Levi Byrne. Chris Canis. Nyota Chantal. Leica Cheney. Colton Chisholm. Ronald Shute. McCain Clark. Emily Clemens. Austin Clifton. Quinn Cohen. Sarah Combs. Angel Contreras. Tavian Cook. Gracie Doherty. Madeline Davidson. Annabelle Dean. Caitlin DeBloy. Kiara Dennis. Devin Daravan. Patrick DeVore. Patience Dixon. Ethan Dockham. Steve Dorson. Bella Doherty.
Ezekiel Doyen Antoine. Ryan Dye. Albertina Eka. Hunter Edwards. Zachary Egger. Hayden Earl. Liliana Eichhorn. Joel Ellis. Kaylee Ellis. Caden Erb. Savannah Erger. Andrea Escobar. Kaylee Fields. Selena Fondren. Michaela Gaines. Cadence Galvan. Kareen Gamini. Sophia Gardner. Jaziel Garnica Perez. Grace Gilbaugh. Gerardo Trujillo Gomez. Kevin Gonzalez. Nicholas Graham. Alyssa Grant. Brianna Griffith. Bryce Grissom. Riley Groman. Caleb Grooms. Gabrielle Guadalupe Lopez. Barbara Hall. Gavin Hall. Caden Haller. Ashlyn Hallman. Lexus Hammond. Ryan Hamill. Clara Hamilton. Emily Hansel. Nathan Harms. Symphony Harris. Deshaun Hatchett. Blake Hawkins. Carmen Hawkins. Dontrell Haywood. Ella Header. Andrew Henry. Jonathan Hildenbrand. You okay? Kylie Hilton. Derikas Himbazimana. Emma Hint. Lucas Hogue. Megan Hogue. Andrew Howard. Rahema Irakozi. Braxton Yanda. Justin Jar. Emma Jellison. Hannah Johnson. Lance Johnson. Kamari Jones. Veronica Jones. Honordy Kabula. Olivia Cadera. Solanju Kapunda. Emmeline Kamugisha. Grady Kaninka. Sayla Karg. I get it. Jasmine Kaufman. Kevin Casimore. Keno Kaiser. Grace Key. Cora Keeney. Christian Condi. Brianna Klepp. Kelsey Knutson. Celestin Kobagis. Alyssa Conan. Chastity Kramer. Kendra Krantz. Nicholas Kutra. Tate Kennan. Logan Larson. Brandon LeClaire. Sydney Leonard. Jace Lurch. Kejur Lewis. Georgia Laskill. Carl Lovar. Serena McTaggart. Holly Madsen. Joanna Maldonado. Ekram Malikic. Marvin Marroquin Callejas. Anthony Marroquin Chuy. Robert Martinez Alaves. Marcus Maryland. Mackenzie McAllister. Brianna McNeil. Madeline McQuiston. Quincy Meyer. Cooper Messina. Devin Meyer. Rahel Melenzo. Edith Mondragon. Michael Monroe. Peyton Moon. Aubrey Morlett. Keelan Morgan. Ben Moritz. Devin Moser. Rosella Moses. Brevor Punji. Benjamin Mukokila. Emma Mukuyano. Immaculée Mwanikazi. Karen Mwalari. Gunnar Myers. Adolphe Ndume. Gioni Neal. Come on. Natalie Nelson. Pascal Gakini. Jamie Wynn. Deborah Niukuri. Kayla Nordman. Esperance Nirashimwe. Andrew Olson. Brianna Olson. Aaron Olson. Megan Olson. Blessing Olutunde. Aiden Osborne. Natalie O'Shea. Rebecca Ostrom. Michaela Page. Kelsey Palmer. Yura Palumbo. Kendall Pennington. Mason Peters. McChandley Panord. Rosnucha Panord. Satyavati Pampatep. Samantha Pickney. Samuel Payton. Jada Platt. Anya Pogenclass. Dawson Posakani. Jackson Powers. Holly Pregon. Colin Primer Posey. Olivia Proctor. Natalie Prohaska. Evelyn Purifoy. Ava Rayleigh. Hunter Rapp. Caitlin Rawson. Emma Reed. William Reed. Jadis Rhodes. Noah Ridenauer. Eli Roberts. Michaela Robertson. Johnny Robinson. Nina Rodriguez. Gavin Ross. Priscilla Rossi. Allie Rude, Jonathan Rundle, Owen Rustan, Luke Sackett, Mason Sanders, Caden Schroeder, Caleb Schaefer, Kirsten Sloan, Abigail Smith, Zachary Smith, Dynasty Snowdy, Jade Snyder, Mason Soska, Joshua Standifer, Hannah Steele, Caleb Suter, Alexia Suter, Adam Schwartzendruber, Marquise Square, Alex Tamayo, Devon Tamayo, Emma Taves, Brianna Taylor, Carson Taylor, Ashton Thomas, Kenneth Thomas, that's awesome, Kiera Thomas, Taylor Troy, Patrick True, Clayton Ulrich, Alexander Van Dee, Chase Bentz, Ava Vlecko, Trent Voss, Alea Walter, Tony Washington, Ellen Wainaware, Lillian Weldon, Ian Wiederin, Jamal Williams, Andreas Williams, Kelsey Williams, Tamarie Williams, Tion Williams, Logan Willman, Madeline Wilson, Terrence Wilson, Zane Wilson, Terrence Woods, Maurice Wright, Lillian Wolf, Abigail Yambolo. Spencer Yukonovich. Siobhan Young. Way to go, Siobhan. Isabel Zado. Laura Zertzman. Ryan Zercher.
Live and Local is proudly sponsored by Eels and Tronvold Law Offices, McGrath Family of Dealerships, and Walled Collation Center in Fairfax.